Hey, it's Jesus Castillo from RubyGuides.com, and in this video you're going to learn about advanced Ruby topic, which is about regular expressions. So if you are new to Ruby, this is probably going to be too advanced for you, but if you're not, you might find this very interesting because it's something that you don't find very often explained anywhere else. So let's do this. I want to start explaining, giving you a bit of context so you understand what I want to teach you today. So what I'm talking about, regex. So there is a regex, which means regular expression. There is a class in Ruby called regex, which is the short version of regular expression, right? And this class, like many other classes, has methods, right? One of these methods called last match. Okay, so we're going to be talking about mostly three things: last match, pre-match, so before the match, and post-match. So let me write that down for you. So it's going to be pre-match, last match, all of these are related, and post-match. Okay? So what are those? Well, I'm going to show you an example so you can understand. But basically, last match, this refers to the last thing you match using a regular expression. Then pre-match is also related to last match, but it's what match before this, and this is what match after. But here is easy to get confused because they have this should be called current match, in fact, and this should be called pre-match of the current match. But that will be too long of names. So keep watching because I'm going to show you the example so you understand. Because this is advanced and it can be a bit confusing until you see the example. So here is the example, very simple. Let's say we have something like, for example, some dots and a comma and some other dots. I want to know how many dots are before the comma and how many dots are after the comma. Of course, we could just take this. I'm going to give this a variable name. We could do a split by comma, right? And this gets me two parts. It gets me the part before and the part after. That's one way to do it. Then I can say something like before, comma, after. That's multiple assignment. We can do in Ruby this. And when you do multiple assignment with an array, the first element gets assigned to the first variable and the second element gets assigned to the second variable. So that's very helpful to know. So you can see before, after. And now you could say something like, okay, is before size greater than after size, something like that, if you want to know which side is bigger than the other. So that's one thing that might come up as some kind of challenge in a coding interview. You can imagine something like this, right? But there is another way to do this, and we don't need to use a split, and that's to use this concept: pre-match, last match, and post-match. And let me show you how to use this concept to solve this little coding challenge using regular expressions. Okay? So here is how to do that. We take our string and we're going to match it. What we're going to match it is the separator. So the thing in the middle between the two dots, right? Because it is like a separator. It could be anything else, right? This doesn't have to be a comma. As you can imagine, this could be like the pipe character, or it could be a letter. It can be anything else. It doesn't have to be a comma. But in this case, we can use the comma just as an example. So how do we write a regular expression for this? Or the A, don't care. Well, we do scan That's one way. Or we can do, there's different ways to use a regular expression, as you might know. We can use this. And we're going to look for the thing, it has to be like this, okay? So this is going to give us the position where the A is, okay? But how does that get you these dots? How do you go from the position of A to getting the dots after the A and before the A, right? Well, of course you could do some ranges like that. You have to do -1 and you can do more ranges. And that's kind of not fun, having to work with indexes and things like that. So here is where our regex comes in, our regex class. We can do last match. And what do you expect last match to be? Well, let's find out. Last match is, of course, our match A. So we match the thing in the middle. This could be the comma, the pipe character, any other divisor or separator that we have, right? But this is also an object. It's a MatchData object. And of course, like the regex class, it has its own methods. And one of those methods is prematch. So we can do prematch. And here comes a really cool thing. Ta-da! Whoa, where did these dots come from? Well, it's this. Prematch means whatever was, whatever content, whatever character, symbols, whatever was before the match. So the match is A, right? Because we say to look for the character A in our regular expression. What's before that match is the dots before. And that's exactly what we wanted. That's exactly what pre-match gives you. Gives you whatever is before the match. If there is nothing, you get an empty string, right? Okay, so what about this? What about what's after the match? What's after A? Well, as you might imagine, if there is pre-match, there is also post-match. Post-match, after the match, right? And of course there is. Ta-da! And post-match gives you what's after the match. So the dots after the A in this case. So that's how you could do this using regular expressions. Last match gives you the current match. So last match refers to the match we just done using any kind of regular expression. So this could be with this format, this could be using the scan method or the match method. All of these you can access with last match. And from the last match object, you can access the pre-match and the post-match. So that's the really cool thing. And we can combine it with another really cool thing that's called the spaceship operator. I have a dedicated video for this, but very quickly going to show you this as well. And with this, we can compare the two. We can compare the pre-match and the post-match and find out which one is bigger. So with this, if the pre-match, so whatever is before the match, before the A or the comma or the pipe character is bigger, we get a 1. If this side is bigger, we get a -1. And if they are equal, we get a 0. So let's find out which one it is. And we get -1, right? Because that side is smaller. So it's -1, then 0, then 1. So you can like imagine a balance. It depends in what side the balance is more weighted towards, right? So if you, so like an old school balance where you put these little things, you physically put things in both sides, right? You can imagine that to understand what's happening here. So if the thing is smaller, then the left side of the balance comes down, and that means -1. And that means this is smaller in this case. So I'm just trying to give you a visual analogy to understand why do we have these three values, right? 0 being equal, -1 is this side is smaller, 1 being the other side is bigger. So there is that. That's how you can use this pre-match and post-match. So quick review, when we do a regular expression, it can be any kind of regular expression, like this one, right? For this string, you can get the results using last match. Last match and the regex class, which means regular expression, gives you a MatchData object. This object has other methods, which is pre-match and post-match, and that will give you what's before pre and after post. Okay, and there is some shortcuts, special shortcuts. I prefer that you use this, but because you watch all the way to the end, I'm giving you some special shortcuts that you might see like in Code Golf type of scenarios, right? And that's to use a special global variable to split into Ruby. Global variables start with the dollar symbol, and then you can do this. And what's this? Well, this is post-match. So yes, this is a lot shorter, more short than this, right? But of course, if you don't know what this is, it's harder to Google for this. It's harder to find this. So it's better if you use the full name and think. You might feel free to do whatever you want. And of course, if there is one for post-match, there's going to be the conjugate, or the other part, the one that goes with this one, right? And that's the pre-match. Of course, there is also that version, of course, which means we could do this, right? Which is kind of interesting. So if you see this in some Ruby code, or maybe you're participating in a Code Golf kind of challenge, and you see this, now you know what this is. It's no longer a mystery for you, because this corresponds to this, to the pre-match and the post-match, and this corresponds to the spaceship operator. And again, if you want to know more of our spaceship operator, I have another video with more examples. So that's it for this video. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you learned something new and interesting. Please click the like button for me so I know that you like this video, so more people can find it and benefit from this information. If you want to learn more, watch more of videos in the channel. Right now there are around 100 videos you can watch to improve your Ruby skills. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, so you don't miss out on new videos. And visit my website, RubyGuides.com. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you keep learning and improving your Ruby skills.